Good afternoon, Danny, Kenzie, Judah, Nathan, Honor, and Michael. My name is Uncle Greg, and this is another story about Huffy Puffy, the train, as I'm sure you now know who that is. Right, it's called Huffy Puffy's Christmas. Huffy Puffy yawned, rubbed his eyes, and snuggled down into his large, red, super soft blanket, and closed his eyes again to get a few more moments of delicious sleep. It was the holidays, and he did not have to take anyone to school or work. Everyone was on holiday for 2 weeks, and it was nearly Christmas. Huffy Puffy loved Christmas. All the sparkly lights, the presents, the people singing Christmas carols, and happy and excited children everywhere. Huffy Puffy, thinking sleepily about last Christmas and when his best friend and driver, Bill Markiplier, had come down to the station house to wish Huffy Puffy a happy Christmas and had brought him a present all wrapped up in beautiful Christmas paper. It was bright red and green and had pictures of bells and ribbons. It was the most beautiful wrapping paper Huffy Puffy had ever seen. Inside was a shiny copper bell that now hung above the main doors of Huffy Puffy's station house where he lived. When the door was open and the wind was blowing gently, the bell would tinkle with the sweetest sound that would always make Huffy Puffy smile. As he dreamed, half awake, snug in his blanket, he heard his friend Bill opening the station doors. "That's odd," thought Huffy Puffy to himself. "I'm sure we're not going into town today. It's still the holidays." "Good morning, Huffy Puffy," called Bill. Huffy Puffy opened one eye and looked at Bill sleepily. "Morning, Bill," answered Huffy Puffy. "What's going on? Are we going somewhere?" "Actually, yes," said Bill, starting to pull Huffy Puffy's blanket off and get Huffy Puffy ready to go out. "We have an urgent package. I need to get to the post office. Very important train business." "Ooh," said Huffy Puffy, suddenly wide awake. "That sounds interesting." Bill started Huffy Puffy's engine, and Huffy Puffy moved out and stopped at the station platform. "No carriages today, then, Bill?" asked Huffy Puffy. "No," replied Bill. "We won't be needing them." Huffy Puffy felt a tingle of excitement. No carriages meant he could go a little faster, something he loved to do. "Well, let's get going then," called Huffy Puffy excitedly. Bill Markiplier climbed up into the driver's cabin, released the brakes, and off they went. Down the hill, over the bridge, and through the two large trees, one on the right and one on the left. Huffy Puffy was racing along, enjoying the feeling of the wind in his face, when he noticed something up ahead, next to the tracks. It looked like a really big box, red and gold, almost as big as one of his carriages. Huffy Puffy was sure that it wasn't one of his carriages. They were all safely back at the station house. And anyway, how would one of his carriages get all the way out here if Huffy Puffy wasn't pulling it? No, this was something else. What could it be? As Huffy Puffy got closer, he could see the big box thing had no wheels. How strange! How did it get out here with no wheels? Maybe that's why it wasn't moving, thought Huffy Puffy to himself. How very odd. Huffy Puffy slowed down a bit as he got closer. He saw someone standing next to the box-like thing. He was a large man. Huffy Puffy didn't want to say he was fat, as that would be rude. But he did have a rather large tummy. He also had a huge white beard and a red hat and coat, and was wearing black boots. What an odd-looking person, thought Huffy Puffy to himself. Just behind the large man in his red coat were some animals. Huffy Puffy knew quite a bit about animals from a book Bill had given him some time ago. It was Huffy Puffy's favorite book. It had pictures and stories about all sorts of animals. Huffy Puffy thought he recognized these animals. He was fairly sure that they were some sort of deer. They were brown in color and had large horns. One of the deer had a bright red nose, shiny, almost like it had a light inside the nose. Goodness, thought Huffy Puffy. Who was that man, and why did he have deer? One of them with a bright red nose. And why were they here? Bill, called Huffy Puffy, I think that man might need help. It looks like all his wheels have fallen off. No, Huffy Puffy, answered Bill. That's a sleigh, and those are reindeer. The one with the bright red nose is Rudolph, and that man is Father Christmas. What? Said Huffy Puffy. Father Christmas? What's he doing here? Isn't he supposed to be in the North Pole until Christmas? Let's ask him, answered Bill. And that is exactly what they did. Once Father Christmas had said hello to Bill and Huffy Puffy, he explained that one of his reindeer, Prancer, had bumped his leg on a nearby tree and had fallen out of his harness. Prancer had had a dreadful fright and had run off. Father Christmas could not carry on with his journey without him, and he was very worried. I really don't know what to do, said Father Christmas in a shaky voice. He looked as if he was about to burst into tears at any moment. Don't worry, Mr. Father Christmas, sir. Bill and I will find Prancer for you, said Huffy Puffy. Bill cast a worried look at Huffy Puffy and whispered, Huffy Puffy, how are we supposed to find a missing reindeer? Don't worry, replied Huffy Puffy confidently. I have friends around here that can help. With that, Huffy Puffy gathered up some steam and gave a long, gentle whistle using his train horn. What was that? Asked Bill, looking very surprised. He had never heard Huffy Puffy whistle like that before. Lemon Tree Malloy taught me that whistle, replied Huffy Puffy. It's a bird song. A what? Started Bill, and stopped talking as hundreds of birds began gathering around them. I've got a picture of Father Christmas in his sleigh with the reindeer, as you can see there. The harness. And here are all the birds coming when Huffy Puffy whistled. You can see there's lots and lots of them. Hundreds and hundreds of birds. They sat on Father Christmas's sleigh, on Huffy Puffy, and even one or two on Bill's head. Huffy Puffy continued with his strange whistle for a few moments more, and then as suddenly as they appeared, the birds flew off. Now we wait, explained Huffy Puffy. The birds will find Prancer and guide him safely back here. Sure enough, a few minutes went by, and from the trees to the left of the tracks, a brown figure appeared. It was Prancer. Prancer! cried Father Christmas, running over to the reindeer. Father Christmas threw his arms around Prancer and gave him a huge hug. He was so happy to have his reindeer back. Thank you, Huffy Puffy, cried Father Christmas. You are a hero. Bill smiled, but still had a strange look in his eyes as he wondered how Huffy Puffy had learned to whistle like a bird. This train is full of surprises, thought Bill to himself. Once Father Christmas had put a bandage on Prancer's sore leg and had him back in his harness, he took up the reins, and the sleigh and reindeer rose into the air and sped off. See you at Christmas, Huffy Puffy, called Father Christmas from the sleigh as it disappeared from sight. Bill climbed back into the driver's seat, and off they went to deliver the parcel. About a week later, in the middle of the night, on Christmas Eve, Huffy Puffy was fast asleep under his blanket when he was awoken by something bumping along the station house roof. Huffy Puffy was not alarmed. He knew exactly who it was. He snuggled down in his blanket and went back to sleep. He couldn't wait for the morning when he would open the present Father Christmas had left for him. Well, I hope you enjoyed that story. That's Huffy Puffy's Christmas. And I'm Uncle Greg. Thanks for listening. Bye now.